3 years ago today, guys, I had no idea what trading was. Now I do it for a full-time living. This is going to be my story, guys. This is going to be my take on a bootcamp series. You guys probably watch TJRs, maybe even somebody else out there. This is going to be my take, all right? I've traded these markets for 3 years. I have a tremendous amount of information to share to you guys, and I know that every single one of you out there who actually watches this full series or even, some videos that may be applicable to you, you will take something away from this. Basically, I'm going to be putting a video out every single day of December. This video isn't going out until the 2nd. I had a lot of back-end work that I had to do for this first video. And honestly, structuring this whole boot camp out, it's definitely a lot of planning than it may seem to be to the normal person. But this first episode, I'm just going to go over my journey and how I got into trading. Everybody's different. Everybody has a different path. And in this first video, I'm just going to be explaining my path, how I got into it. I don't want you guys to compare yourself or your journey to mine. All right. Everybody's journey in this is different. I had no idea, in all honesty, that, I would be trading. I'm grateful to be in the position that I'm in and for God to guide me throughout it. I can't thank him enough. There were definitely a lot of hardships that, I'll get into throughout the series and whatnot. And even, this video a little bit. But, this first video, it's basically, it's not going to be any trading material. Not going to be any trading material. All it's going to be is my journey. I think it's very important that you guys see where I come from, how I learned trading, and, ultimately how I got to where I am today. Trading is what I do. I wake up every morning, trade 9:30 to 11 a.m. Unless it's a bank holiday, I'll probably sleep in. But, this is what I do. So to get into it, always from a young age, I knew that I was meant for more, right? I always wanted to make my own money. I never wanted to work for anybody else, all right? And I'm sure a lot of you guys out there can probably say the same thing, right? Some of you guys might be even in high school right now, even in your 20s, or even stuck at some 9-to-5 job that you guys hate, right? I never wanted to work for somebody else. I always wanted to make money on my own. And I did. And I did make money on my own throughout high school. I did everything that I could to make money. Whatever side hustle it may have been, I was doing it. Reselling, I was doing it. Selling tickets, I was doing it. And I made good money, guys. I made good money. Peep the Taylor Swift sales, all right? I was never going to work for somebody. I was always going to find a way to make money on my own. So shout out Taylor Swift. Crazy ROI. But I was doing everything, guys. I resold, I botted sneakers, Yeezys, Jordans, stacking my car with packages. It just stems from, I always had a passion and a desire to provide for myself and get more out of life. I knew that in high school I didn't want to go work some boring job that I would just hate and work my way up into a corporate ladder. I was going to find a way to provide for myself on my own time. That was the most important. I wanted to do it on my time. I don't want to be constricted to some schedule. And I'm sure all of you guys out there can probably agree to this. You don't want to work on somebody else's time. You want to be on your own time. All right, guys? And a lot of you guys out there do have a burning desire. I know you do. You see everybody online doing it, and you're just like, why not me? Why not me? I'm telling you guys right now, you need to take action. Everybody can have that desire. Everybody can. Everybody can want to make more money. You have to actually take action. All right? Take action. You guys just have to start somewhere. Put yourself in a position to learn something. It's as simple as that. In high school, I had no idea about trading. No idea. And it just goes to show you guys that there's so many ways to make money in this world outside of getting a normal job. So many ways. I don't know if reselling is any applicable to today's day and age, or the current markets and whatnot, but it was very good when I was doing it 3 to 4 years ago. So yeah, I just always knew that I was going to make money on my own. right? I just always knew that I was. Now, how did I actually find trading? The big one, most of you all probably found it the exact same way. Shout out the man himself, TJR. I saw one of his first videos when he was, moving out to Puerto Rico. He was moving out of Utah, I think he lived. I'm not too sure. But basically, he built the life for himself, and, he moved to Puerto Rico with his dog, and he had the freedom. And that was the biggest thing. That was something that he preached, He has freedom to do whatever he wants. And that's what stuck out about trading. Like, wow, I can, sit at my desk and press buy or sell and be financially free and do whatever I want to do for the rest of my day. Like, are you kidding me? Who wouldn't want to get into that? So I did what everybody else did. I started watching his boot camp. Let's take a step back. I first saw trading. I probably did see TJR, actually. I did see TJR. And I didn't start watching TJR right away. I did not. I started trading crypto. I think one of my buddies brought it up, like trading crypto or whatnot. So, I saw TJR, he trades whatever he was trading at the time. I think it was even Forex or something. But, I was just like, okay, I'm going to learn how to trade crypto. And if you guys don't think I wanted it, it's all notes. All notes. All notes. Front, back. Super nice handwriting, too. I wanted it. All right? I watched countless YouTube videos. I have pictures printed and literally I have pieces of tape with pictures on there to show me examples of it. Are you kidding me? I've highlighted vocab words in there. I wanted it. I was going to make it work. Now, did I make it work with crypto? That's up for you to decide. I would say crypto was more so, a learning experience, if anything, a learning experience. Shout out the trend line and supply and demand on Solana 4-hour chart. Really good stuff right there. Really good stuff right there. And, I did see some profits from it. I did see some profits from trading crypto. A lot of it was just random, though. A lot of it was random profits, and there was no structure to it. I was ultimately gambling. I was just gambling. I think at the end of it, I ended up losing like 2 to 3K trying to trade crypto. And that's just the reality of it. So what did I do from there? I actually watched TJR's bootcamp. I watched all of his bootcamp videos, took notes on all of his bootcamp videos, and, I ultimately started trading his strategy. I would not recommend that for any of you guys out there. TJR's strategy doesn't really work the best. There are ways that you can simplify it and make it easier, which we're going to be going over in this bootcamp. You guys will learn my smart money model, probably the easiest model out there. Super simple. You could teach a 10-year-old it, in all honesty. I'll go over all the confluences and whatnot later on in the series. But that's how I started. I started trading TJR strategy. And, with that, I learned a lot from it. He explained the basics really well. He explained the basics very well. I had heard of ICT at the time. Honestly, I think I watched 1 or 2 of his videos, and I caught myself like falling asleep every time that I was watching it. So I honestly stuck to TJR, and I put time into the markets, guys. That is the most important thing. I would sit there and watch the markets. That's how I got market experience, guys. You guys can learn whatever confluence, whatever strategy out there. Nothing will ever beat time inside the markets. Nothing will ever beat time inside the markets. That's why if you guys are able to start at a young age, yes, you should be starting at a young age, because you are going to get so much more time and experience in the markets compared to somebody else. It's really that simple. Okay? The technical analysis, the confluences and whatnot, you guys will learn all that by the end of the series. That's not hard to do. Okay? It's about building market experience and discretionary, trading within the markets. And you only get that from actually watching these markets day in and day out and building, most importantly, consistent habits with that. Okay? I had to learn the hard way. When I started, after I watched TJR's bootcamp, I didn't really listen to what he said about paper trading. I went out, bought a bunch of funded accounts. And, I bought funded accounts with one-of-one funding. And those accounts were pretty expensive at the time. I think they were like three to $400. And they were like a two-phase account, like a first profit target and then a second profit target. So we've definitely came a long way within the prop firm space, probably for the better. Also because one-on-one funding did rug pull everybody. So, I had to learn the hard way with that, with discipline. And, ultimately just building conviction within a model and more so just discretionary and putting experience and time within the markets. I thought that, I could come into this, watch his boot camp, and I would have everything mastered by the end of it. It was not the case. Not the case. Not the case whatsoever. Whatsoever. First of all, it's completely... Trading crypto was one thing. I did not use any of that for my trading now. None of it. Sure, I learned like liquidity and whatnot, maybe equilibrium and stuff. But overall, I don't use any of those confluences the way that I trade now. None of them. Even TJR and what he teaches, I mean, maybe some of them I'll mark up, but that's not my main entry model. It's not. My entry model is, something that I've developed over time and experience within the markets. Granted, I didn't invent the smart money model, guys. I didn't invent these confluences that I'm going to talk about in this series. Okay? But I have specific rules and specific things that I look for my model that gives me an edge within the markets. Okay? And that's what I'll go over throughout this series with you guys. All right? Now, the fun part. The first bit of success. It was actually a couple months in that I had passed my first account and I even got a payout. And basically, from this moment on, I devoted everything that I had to this skill and mastering it. And it's as simple as that. OG certificate from 101 Funding right here. They actually had some really cool certificates. I do got to give it to them. And then, this was the first ever trading payout right here, guys. First ever trading payout. January 19th, 2024. And, this just ultimately opened up my eyes, guys. This opened up my eyes to the grand scale of things and what trading ultimately could provide for me. I knew that if I put in the time day in and day out and mastered, my strategy and my craft, the sky's the limit. The sky's the limit. I already had shown myself that if I followed a simple set of rules and a strategy, I could get a payout within the market. Why would I not continuously do that? Yes, there were other things that I did after this, guys. I don't think I got another payout for 3 months after that 101 Funding one. And there were some tweaks in my model and also greed that I had to deal with and whatnot. So, these are all parts of trading, and I'll have psychology videos later down the line within this series. But this is ultimately how I got into it and how I'm in the position that I'm in today. Do you think high school me, botting sneakers and fitted hats off Hat Club and reselling them on eBay, would have ever thought that I would be trading NASDAQ and ES futures? Are you kidding me? I had no idea. No idea. And hopefully, throughout this, you guys were able to see some of the steps that I took from the start that ultimately, got me to see that first bit of success. And then from there, guys, it's a snowball effect. It truly is. I know some of you guys out there haven't gotten your first payout yet. And let me tell you, maybe some people who are even watching this video, you have gotten a payout, but you're still stuck. Okay? And that's perfectly okay. That's perfectly okay. But after you guys get that first payout, it's eye-opening. It's eye-opening to the possibilities that trading has to offer for you guys. All right. I don't want to make this video too long. I don't want to go too much in detail, but hopefully you guys were able to see my story and how I honestly came about with trading and some of the steps that I took at the start. The whole point of this boot camp is going to be teaching you guys. It's going to be educational stuff. Majority of it will be spent on the charts. But I thought it was only right to start off this series basically explaining how I got into trading. All right, everybody's journey is different. Everybody goes through different things. This is how I got into it. I'll talk about some of my struggles later on and how I overcame those for specific videos going over that and whatnot. But I wanted to keep this video pretty basic. It's the start of the 31-day series, guys, about my journey and how I'm ultimately in the position that I'm in today. And what really led me to the position that I'm in today. So hopefully you guys did gain some intel or some value from that, or at least a takeaway from my journey and how I got started, or even if this was just a reminder to take action, guys. You all have to start somewhere. I started trading crypto, guys. Supply and demand on crypto. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? With trend lines. Need I remind you? I'm looking at the Solana chart right here. 4-hour time frame. Trend line and supply and demand zones. We all start somewhere. We all start somewhere, guys. We all start somewhere, guys. So hopefully you guys did enjoy this video. And, some of you out there probably didn't even know how, or even know who I am. So hopefully this does give you guys a little bit of a background. And, I'm really excited for this series, guys. I have so much information to share to you guys, and I know a lot of you guys out there are going to benefit from this. All I ask is that you take notes from this and pay attention, guys. Take action. All right. I remember 2 to 3 years ago when I took action and watched TJR's boot camp. If I never would have watched that boot camp, who knows what I'd be doing right now? Who knows? And the same goes for any of you guys out there who are watching this video right now. Take action. It's as simple as that. You guys saw my journey. Shit that I was doing in high school, bro. Never would I thought that I'd be a day trader. Never would I have thought that I would be trading for a full-time living. Never would I have imagined. But look at where we are. Everybody starts somewhere, guys. Take action. I'm super excited for this YouTube series, and I hope you all enjoy it. So with that being said, guys, I will see you guys in tomorrow's video. Peace.